everybody. We will get started a couple of minutes early here. Just heads up to everybody, kickoff on Saturday is at 11:39 a.m. Our time for players will start again around noon tomorrow with the quarterback and three captains, and then post-practice in that 6:30 to 6:45 range. And then Coach Kelly's conference call on Sunday will remain at 2 p.m. And with that, we'll get started.
Well, it's good to go back into a week after a win. Certainly builds the confidence for our football team, but it comes right back down to reality with Navy this week. Obviously Ken Niumatalolo and what he's done at Navy is well documented. This year they're already beating a top 5 team in Houston, team that we know quite well in terms of playing them over my past 6 years here. A ton of respect for what they do offensively, defensively, and special teams. So it'll be a great challenge for our football team. They just keep rolling. Offensively, they lose their starting quarterback. Will Work comes in and picks up, where they left off. And you think they lose Keenan Reynolds and there's going to be a drop off, but the production's been unbelievable. I think it's 500 yards per over the last few games, and 40 something plus, and they're throwing it even better than they've ever thrown it with a multiple offensive formational set. So it's a challenge for us, and one that obviously will test us. Defensively, they've lost some players, but they seem to have gotten more athletic defensively. Palmore leads with 5 sacks, so they're aggressive. And what you know about Navy is you just look at the South Florida game; they're down 42-14, and the final score is 52-45. So I think that tells you a little bit about what you're going to get, from a Navy football team. They're gonna do everything to play to the final whistle. And so 4 quarters of football. It's an early start, so we'll get out of here Thursday night to prepare, give our guys a chance to acclimate on Friday, and play the game in Jacksonville on Saturday morning. So again, a great challenge in front of us, one that we'll prepare for on the field beginning today. So with that, we'll get rolling.
Coach, I don't have anything for injuries yet.
Okay, we'll wait on that.
How did you frame the indecisiveness message that you talked about Saturday when you met him in the meeting room, and then how did it translate onto the practice field?
Well, I think indecisiveness comes in different forms. I think CJ is just trusting his talents. He's a talented football player. And he needs to trust his talents. And so, as it relates to him, it goes right to that. When you trust your talents, you won't be indecisive. You go up and get that football, and you won't suffer the consequences, and our team won't suffer the consequences. I think in other instances, being indecisive, has something to do with not trusting your technique, and you wanting to do things that are not taught. And then I think in final instances is sometimes not trusting your teammates. Maybe you haven't built a strong enough rapport with the teammate to trust maybe making that throw. So it comes in different forms, that indecisiveness, but particular to your question as it relates to the special teams and CJ, it would be just trusting his talent.
How do you build on that for the whole team this week? How do you build on that message?
Yeah, so we talk about that openly. as really a piece that is still needs to grow within our football team. And, some of that is just inexperienced players that have to trust in those three areas. And we just have to continue to work on those and be, pretty transparent in talking about those things on a day-to-day basis. And then, pointing them out when those opportunities arise in practice. And then spending time. Maybe it's Deshaun and KJ spending more time on a particular route to build that confidence that he can go and throw that route without any, indecisiveness.
I'm curious, you mentioned going 4 quarters against Navy, and it does seem like that even when you get leads on these teams,
Yeah.
that they do find a way back. Does that make it more difficult for you to continue to rotate so many players, because preparing guys for triple options is certainly different than what you've been going against?
Now, this is a game where we'll have to play more players. It's a different game, and it's a downhill game. It's a physical game where, you're tackling, you're running every play. So, for example, we're going to have to ask more from Nico Fertitta this week. This is a week where he'll have to be more involved. Jalen Elliott will have to be more involved. So our safety position will be certainly from a depth standpoint called on to contribute more this week.
Have you had that, like last year, the certain scout team option group that prepared you?
Yeah, the SWAG team, they're up and running. We started with them taking option about 2 weeks before the bye week. And they began in the first period of our practices just to, get them sharp so this wouldn't be the first time they were touching the football.
I think it's just kind of doubling back. Is it tough with all these freshmen to teach, that are going to have to play in the secondary, to teach them to train their eyes differently?
Well, if this was our opener, it certainly would be. They've had to play with discipline in other fashions, so I think that has been built in, in a sense, of playing with discipline in other forms of offenses that we have faced. So this will be their first foray, and obviously playing very, very difficult offense. But I think if it was week 1 or week 2, there would be some more hesitancy. But these guys are confident